Hey. Welcome to KUZA MZIKI. This is a music business podcast where it's all about be smarter,
be better.
and be better. This is Jacktone, Otieno, media and events expert, and I do this podcast with my very good friend.
My name is Mike Mutenyo.
The brand guru himself.
Yes.
Yeah. Mike, I like your outfit, man.
Thank you.
You know how to clean up good. Yeah?
Both casual and formal.
Yeah. You really clean up really good.
So it's kusema na kutenda. Lazima.
For those who don't understand that, it means to you do what you say. Do what you say. Yeah. So Mike, what's the goal of this podcast? You know, just especially for someone who is joining us today, this is their first time. Shout out to you if you're joining us for the first time today, listening on Spotify or watching on YouTube. Thank you for making time to join us. We promise you it's going to be a good ride and it's going to be definitely worth your time. Yeah.
The goal of this podcast is to inform and empower any musician that is out there, whether it's an upcoming or an A-list, or someone who was there and they're looking forward to coming back. Basically what we do in the podcast is we share our experiences, we share our knowledge through our daily activities as practitioners in the creative sector. So that is the purpose basically for KUZA MZIKI, and it's Swahili word for we want the music industry to grow. For Kenya, Africa,
the rest
Europe,
of the world.
And the rest of the world.
Absolutely. So we want to see gainful impact. You know, if you're starting out in the music career, we want to see you thrive. We want to see you employ the right strategies. We want to see you work with the right team, and we want to see you succeed. And more important, something very important, is to make money. You know, sometimes people ignore the power of money. Money is you know, some people say money is evil.
No, it's not.
It's the root of all.
The love of money is.
But the money itself is a good.
It is
good thing.
But
the love of it is where
the love of it makes you do bad things.
It makes you do bad. It makes you steal. It makes you corrupt.
But I tend to feel you can love it and still do good.
I still do good. No, but you'll be tempted.
When you love it,
when you love it too much, you'll be tempted to do whatever it takes.
When you love it too much and you have it too much, how will it be bad?
Money itself is not bad. The love of it is what is bad. But anyway, we start our conversation today about revenue streams. What are the opportunities that are there that exist for you to be able to, you know, make some revenue for your music business or your music career? So what are some of there are many different ways, Mike. Let's start from the basic and the most
basic
record sales. Let's start with that.
Before even we start with that, have you ever met an artist and asked them about what they know, how they'll earn a living? I'm asking because a few years back when I was an artist, we were really chasing some record label for them to sign us. So in that meeting,
which record label?
Ogopa DJs.
Okay.
So there's a guy called Lucas Piquedo, one of the founders of Ogopa. So he asked us one question, not about why do you want to be signed at Ogopa. He asked us, what year was that at that time? 2012. He asked me, as at 2012, how do artists make money? As in, if I sign you, how will you make me money? Now, at that time, our knowledge about that was very limited, and I think it determined him working with us or not. Because technically, what we knew was performing, in that we will go for shows.
Go for gigs.
And then you guys will be getting a cut. Number two, even at that time, YouTube was not that.
That time we still had we had the CDs, the compact discs.
It was. So even YouTube was not that.
And in fact, that time I think very few artists would actually even print the inlays for the CDs.
Yes.
It would just be you burn and right there
On top.
On top.
Yeah.
With a felt pen.
And felt pen.
Yeah.
So we told him about concerts, and then the next one we told him brand endorsements.
Yeah.
And then he asked, what else? We told him, those are the only ways we know how artists make money.
Yeah.
Which fast forward years later, I've interacted with a lot of artists, and I've asked them a similar question.
Yeah.
And the answer has been like that. That's why I saw this episode we dedicated fully to discussing that, because you'll be amazed more than 10, and even when we reached the 10th one, we still have a lot of undiscussed ways of how artists make money.
Yeah.
So that's why this conversation is very key, and it's important for an artist who's starting out, so that now when they're building their career, they'll position themselves properly, so that by the time they blow up or they have an active career, they'll have several ways they can make money.
Yeah.
So that's why this podcast is in existence.
That's right. That's right. So let's start with record sales, man. Let's start with record sales.
Yes.
Because now, this is, you have the opportunity to either sell your single, release a single, and push it and sell it, or release an album, a new one, and push it
and sell it how?
And sell it. Now there are ways you can sell it, and you can use platforms like now the ones we talked about, Spotify, Apple Music.
So that's digital, but
that's digital.
You've jumped to the other one.
But the other one that is.
So it died.
The
In
other
your opinion,
one,
did it die?
in a way.
You no longer buy CDs.
I no longer buy CDs.
You no longer buy a flash disc that has someone's album.
I no longer buy. I no longer do those things.
So Jacktone is a representation of the world.
Yeah, I no longer do that. But I know people still sell CDs.
Where?
They're still there.
Where?
There are a few artists who have them.
So you've been globetrotting in that you've been a lot of countries. So these gigs that you've been to, have you seen those artists selling CDs?
No.
If you want to get their music at the entrance or whatever, how are they advertising for you to access their music? Or even it's not. For example, the Burna Boy gig that you went to. Yeah. Was there any information that was
Apple Music was the official partner sponsoring the gig, so it was.
So they had something like QR codes, or what did they have?
Nothing. They just
billboards and all over.
They had billboards, Apple and Burna Boy. Yeah.
Yeah. So under record sales, it's record sales is one of the revenue streams that exist, but it has undergone metamorphosis. Just because of the internet came and changed a lot of things.
Yeah.
It literally flipped our world 360 degrees. That's why someone who died, let's say in the year 2000, if they were to rise up now and pursue a career, it would be a totally different world. Because let's say when in the year 2000s we had tapes and then CDs. So a lot of that has changed because of how the access of music is. So in 2023, the way artists are able to make money through sales, record sales, but digitally mostly. That's why we've had a lot of companies coming up, streaming platforms. And apart from them, we have companies that sell music that you can download, not stream. So it's one of the ways that artists can make money. And if we are to relate it even locally, recently, I think it was in the month of June, we saw Spotify Africa, but the Kenyan office, it was announcing like the most streamed Kenyans on Spotify, which I saw Sauti Sol were there, Otile Brown was there, we had Wakadinali, we had Nikita Kering. So basically when they announce such a thing, in short, it means those artists, they make money through streams,
right?
Such a platform,
Yeah.
So, but the good thing is we have a lot of those platforms. But at the moment, Boomplay is in a lot of markets, and especially here, locally here.
Yeah.
When we talk about streaming, I think it has a huge market share because of how they marketed, because they entered the market through Android phones.
Yeah.
And Android phones are common in Kenya and Africa.
And they already.
And the parent company was linked to having phones that were flooding the market. So it's one of the platforms that artists usually make money through.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
And aside from that, we have other platforms that also have a considerable audience, like the market share.
Yeah.
AudioMark, also they're a bit huge. I saw in Tanzania they're in the market a bit. Also in Kenya we have Deezer, but not that much in Kenya.
Yeah.
The market share is a bit
Mdundo
now, but now Mdundo is for downloads, not streams.
Yeah.
You can't stream.
Yeah.
And then we have YouTube Music also. You know, they introduced up aside from YouTube the videos. We have the streaming YouTube Music. But I tend to feel either guys got confused in how it works because originally it used to come on phones, but now they changed in that you had to, I think, buy or pay. There was a time I used to have YouTube Music, and then I logged in, it said you have to pay for this. So record sales is one of those.
Yeah.
And technically it's just streams mostly.
Right. Yeah, I think now it's just because of how times have changed. Because I've been to a gig actually a couple of years ago when I was in, I think, or 2021 actually. And I was with some artists who, in the US, they were selling their music using flash discs.
Flash discs.
Yeah, but they were Kenyan. Yeah. But I also attended another gig for American artists, for King and Country Band. And for them, there was nothing like that. It was just, they did an amazing concert, crazy. Actually still stands, until today, it's the best live concert I have attended.
You've ever attended? Where was it?
In the US? In a place in Michigan.
Michigan,
in a place called Muskegon. Beautiful concert. So I think now artists should capitalize on the digital platform because that's where everyone is. Everyone is on their phone.
Technically, it's accepting that the era of CDs is gone. So right now, if you see an artist printing CDs, going with them to sell, you'll tell them, stop this.
Yeah, it's just like walking out the streets and saying, hey, taxi.
Yeah.
Not in Kenya.
Yes.
You know, because and before Uber, you know, came into the market in Kenya, the taxi guys, you know, they were
making a kill.
Uproar. They were making a kill, but they were in uproar.
Yeah,
you know?
They were really against it. But
they were against it.
They had to accept.
They had to accept. They had to, you know, sell their old cars and buy new ones and get into it because you either
catch up or you're left behind.
Or you're left behind, or ship out.
And ship out. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So the other thing, because we just said, mentioned concerts, the other ways that you can make music as revenue is performing live concerts or live performances. Yeah, and this could be organized by you, by yourself or your team. It could also be gigs organized by other people.
Who contract you or hire you?
Contract or hire you to come and perform.
So when you say live, in short, people who perform playback, where do they fall? Or live means you being live, as in them seeing you live.
It means them seeing you live. Whether you're doing playback or doing half live, it all falls
under that. I needed you to clarify
basically concerts and events.
Performing.
Yeah.
I tend to feel it's still king in a way.
Yeah.
Because once you are a big artist in that you're an A-list, whether it's worldwide or in your country, even if we are to look at the local market here and we just look at vernacular musicians, that's how they make a lot of more of their money.
Yeah.
They perform, like here in Kenya, Mugithi artists, those guys gig a lot. And it's their main source of revenue. That's why you'll never see them too stressed about my song is trending on YouTube. It trends, yes, because they have a very active and huge audience, but their focus mostly is usually on getting shows because they can do even like four gigs on a weekend. And it's a huge revenue stream in its own way.
Yeah.
And something that we can just tell any artist is that it doesn't have to be that you're boxed in the sense that you must do live performance. Live, we mean you singing live. Yeah,
music. With the back line and the band and everything.
Because
it's...
In the past, when it was promoted, that's how it was framed in that's the only way you can appear like a serious musician who can make money. But I tend to feel if you are relevant and you have an audience, whichever type of performance that you do, under that also we have appearances. You know, artists are paid to appear. Technically, making special appearances, because it falls also under that. It's also part of that, in that you appear in a club and then you're called to sing a line or two of your songs. So for guys to know that you're there and you came. So it's a huge revenue stream. If you look at established industries like the US, you know, now they have companies that have really measured into that side, like Live Nation. So like what Live Nation they usually do is they identify an artist and then they propose a tour. It's similar to like what 50 Cent is doing. You know, now he's an artist who's been in the game for more than 20 years. He's currently touring and filling up stadiums. It's because these guys, they knew that this guy still has a very active audience. In fact, now we are liquid, the people who used to listen to him, in that we are working. So they approach such artists and they curate now, they identify the places, since they have the right data to show which country listens to, which city listens, so they are curating those gigs in those places. So I'm looking forward to us having such in Africa, because it hasn't really been embraced, in that having a company that does events. Let's say, for example, Homeboys, since they have equipment, they have the resources to come and identify, let's say, for example, Major, and tell Major,
let's do a tour.
Let's do a Kenyan tour.
Let's do a Kenyan tour, or even do East Africa.
Yes, East African tour. And if well marketed and well promoted, I'm quite sure they can recover. It's just that it's something that hasn't been really embraced and marketed properly. I mean, challenge out there to, you know, any people in the event space and corporates. Come out and support musicians. They play a huge part in growing an industry. Those players. Because it's not all about good music. You guys can have good music and big songs. But if the other players don't create, you know, all these things they're created. It's a creation in the mind. If you don't give us a perception, we won't buy into it. That's right. And this is an important, you know, it's an important part of the industry that a musician should never ignore the power of live performances and concerts. Because you know, in Kenya, I know Nyashinsky has organized his own gigs. Shin City, and they are always very successful. Huge and crazy. We just had Saudi Soul do their last Soulfest. And it was amazing, amazing, and they had very proper, huge sponsors came on board. So so and Wizkid from Nigeria, for instance, you know, goes to the O2 Arena, or goes to Westfield Stadium, or the London Stadium, West Ham, I mean, and he fills up the stadiums. They do. We have Beyonce, they call her Queen Bee. You know, planning tours all over the US and everywhere. Ed Sheeran currently is doing that also. And you hear the amount of money they rake in one night. They do. It's crazy. So it's an important part that you as a musician you should never ignore. Like it has its place. So you've been in that space events a lot. So in your opinion, now if this conversation we are targeting events people, what do you think needs to be done for that to be embraced on a larger scale? So the event is running an event or putting an excellent event is very expensive. Like a proper excellent gig is expensive. It is, So it means, and you find probably the artists cannot afford this. So that's why if they partner with an established events management company, it would work. But also the events management company has operation costs. They have staff to pay. There's wear and tear of gear. There's transportation. There's what? There's a lot. There's venue, paying for venue. There's other vendors who are coming. So, and you know they are running a business, and the business you run for profit. You know, it's not charity unless you've made up your mind that hey, you know, I'm supporting this artist,
and we're putting in everything. But it's not sustainable to do that with many
do
artists.
that.
And that's where now corporates
come in.
That's where now corporates. So all these have, you just said, all these people are key players in supporting the industry. The event management companies, you know, the promoters, the artists themselves, and now the corporate sector, because they have the money.
Yeah.
You know, they produce products and services that we all use.
Yeah. Mass market
and
products.
that's an area that the same way, you know, right now, the same way you find Nike supporting or working with our own Eliud Kipchoge.
Yes.
You know, they should do the same thing with musicians.
So where's the gap? Why have Sauti Sol and Shizki managed to do that, and other artists haven't managed? Yet we're in the same industry.
Solfest.
Yes.
Safaricom gave Solfest 5 million.
Yes, I saw that.
You saw that?
Yeah.
So that helps, because if you look at
how did Safaricom come to give them that money?
Positioning. You know, so brand positioning.
So that is where the problem is.
So exactly where back to the beginning. So if you've not watched, start from episode 1. Very important. That's because right. we took guys through the step by step.
Yes.
Way. So
the thing is, just don't lose your flow of thought. What you want to say.
Yeah.
The thing is, we have artists with huge songs, but they've jumped a lot of developmental stages that are very key with their careers, which Sauti Sol, they've been intentional. I think they've been blessed or privileged to come across people who have the right understanding of the music industry. So when it's time to set up a sub-label, they'll tell them to do that. When it's time to register a business, Soul Entertainment or whichever it's called, they do that so that it's run like a company.
Yeah.
Because those are the things that these corporates look at. In that you have a proper company and there's a proof of flow of income.
Right.
In that, if we ask you to bring a statement as an artist, your bank statement, you're not bringing an account called Jacktone Otieno. Jacob Obunga, yet we know you as Otile Brown. You're bringing us in short, you have a company.
That's right.
And through the company, all payments come in and they go out.
Yeah.
It's a very key thing that is missing in the music industry. Even top artists, they don't know the importance of setting up business structures. Then they think a business structure is having people. You can have a lot of people, but the way payments come and go out, they're coming to an individual.
Yeah.
You know, if it's like that, there's no leverage you can get, whether you need a loan or whatever.
Yeah.
So I tend to feel they understood the aspect of placing structures around the music careers, so that even if they are to pitch for grants, they are to pitch to people, whether it's people they want to join, they want those people to join their company, they come knowing this is an entity. I'm not dealing with BN.
Right.
So that now when they come up with a proposal, it's pitched. When they go to explain to the sponsors, they go with a proper team, including a legal team. Yeah. So when these people, they see a very proper structure, they know. Even the accounts that they take to them, they're audited accounts. Yeah. So they know these guys can't play with. They're working with. So it's as much as we are looking at it from the aspect of these companies, that
it's from the ground up.
The problem starts from
the ground up.
Yes, and that's why this podcast is very key. This information is very important to all artists, even existing artists who are there, who've not affected some of the things we are talking about. Right. They are very important. Basically, you are business ready, so that when an opportunity is coming to you, or you've spotted an opportunity, you don't feel like these guys are asking for my bank statement of 2 years, yet I don't have. Yet everything else falls in place in that you qualify for that, you see. I tend to feel that is where the gap, huge gap. That's why it's very easy to find artists who have a management company that is set up. It's easy for them to apply for such. It's easy for them to get investors who come on board as directors. It's something that we've seen in Nigeria a lot with Don Jazzy. Like Don Jazzy got a lot of money from a venture capitalist who brought millions. That's why they were able to roll out artists who took just less than a year to break out into the African market. Like Ira Star. Ruga. Those people, their brands have not worked out in the last 3 years because of talent alone. There's a proper structure, And through that proper structure, they had funding. Funding because these people, when they come to invest, they know this money will come back, which I'm pretty sure they're laughing all the way to the bank now. Those guys who banked on them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. So this conversation, just especially this part, just reminded me of how we started the podcast. And on the first episode, we said there are some people who don't treat music as business.
That is where that's where the problem starts.
That's where the problem starts.
Yes.
And this, I want to speak to both gospel and secular art. Like I'm talking all artists, whether you're singing gospel, whether you're singing secular.
Yeah.
You have chosen music as a career. Yeah. You are waking up every day writing songs, recording and all that. It needs to pay your bills. Yeah. And it can only get to that level if you treat it as a business, the right structure, not as a hobby. And you treat it as a business, not as a hobby.
Yes.
As a,
so
by the way,
a lot of people treat it as a hobby, yet it's a full-time thing. I'm
passionate about this thing, so I just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. You're passionate about it. It's very important. But what structures are you putting in place to ensure? Yeah, and it will work. It's not magic. Number 3 is music licensing. Music licensing and sync deals. So music licensing, it's for instance, I shot a film in Congo, and we identify Fally Ipupa's song. Say Fally Bana, we want your song. We want to use your song on our film. So definitely we must pay him, for that. Or TV commercials. Samsung in Kenya.
The song is used in a TV commercial.
A song is used in TV commercials. So yeah, how can an artist leverage on that? And how can also an artist position themselves for that? Yeah.
So mostly it's through agencies. It's all understanding how, if you spotted something, let's say for example a commercial, you need to get behind what goes on behind the scenes before you watch that commercial on TV.
Yeah.
So technically what happens is most of these adverts, they're done by agencies. Most of digital marketing campaigns they're outsourced by companies.
Yeah.
So it's all about having the right information and the right people in those places, in the sense that knowing that, for example, Safaricom ads, who does them? There's an agency that is in charge of their account.
Yeah.
So those are the people who craft the message, they share with the marketing team on the other side, and then they do the casting, or they go on the lookout. So it's two-way. It can go in that you having a proper team around you that is really connected, in that someone is in those circles of agencies and the creative spaces that deal with advertising. Or alternatively, it is you being intentional with music that you created, that you can reach out. There's an example like in Kenya, there's a few, I think it's like 2 or 3 years ago, there's a guy called Chris Kaiga. You know him?
Yeah.
So Chris had a song that had some catchphrase. I don't really remember the catchphrase, but it was being used a lot around Kenya. So that catchphrase was used by one of our telecommunications company in their campaign without consulting him. I think it was a blunder from the marketing team or the agency.
Yeah.
So he sued them.
Yeah.
He sued them. I want money. You guys have used my phrase, which I copyrighted. So it was settled out of court. I think they engaged with him.
I think they knew that
in exchange, they gave him an ad now. Now we started seeing an ad of him now doing an advert with that catchphrase of his. So I thought this is brilliant. Absolutely. So sometimes such opportunities come in that way. Another thing is you can release a song and then you find it has words that you've played around with, words that can be easily coined to be used in a campaign of a specific company. Once you know it's like that, you can go back to the studio and now you coin it now with a focus on that specific company or product, and then you pitch to them that I have this idea, it's my song, it has done really well in the market, this idea. You know, at the end of the day, these marketing teams, the way they are on the lookout for things that can market them. Yeah. The way it will get to them is varied.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you could also actually specifically write
A song
a song
or content geared towards a specific company or product.
and is submit as a proposal.
Yes.
It could be the best thing that they were waiting or looking for. I know Kanji Mbugwa is really good at. I know he's done stuff for Safaricom.
Yes.
I think he's done for, was it Brookside or Blueband? I don't know. But he's done for a couple. You know.
It's getting in the system. Once you know the people, either producers who do a lot of those jingles and those adverts, because it's usually a certain network that is easy for you to pitch yourself. And once you are used in one, you'll become a darling, because they already they'll know what you are bringing. In your voice, either how you sing in those songs, in those adverts, something like that. Then about film, I wanted to touch on it a bit. So it's not really big yet in Kenya. In other markets, it's a bit huge. For example, Nigeria, for cinema continues. You tend to notice that a lot of music is what used to drive those Afro cinema continues. And those songs used to be special songs done for this specific film to bring out. Most of them, they were done in vernacular, but it was an industry on its own, and they had songwriters who are earning from that. Europe, America, Asia, very huge in that, because the industry, their film industry is huge, and they buy soundtrack. You remember, like a few years back, Beyonce did The Lion King. It was a music project tied to a film, and they had to. We had a lot of African artists who were included in that, and they were paid pretty well, and it gave them proper exposure. Some artists, as in people in the US, got to know who they are through that project.
Right. Awesome. We got to close this conversation, man. But I'd like us to close with the merchandising.
Merchandising.
Yes, so the T-shirt, the shoes, the cloth line. I mean, coming up with a cloth line or perfume. There are many different things that you know, products you can come up with. Just touch on that a bit.
Merchandising is very huge. It's just that us, I think, we view it with the eyes of our industry. So if you are, let's say, in Africa, you'll view it from a point of, I have to make T-shirts and sell to them.
Sell at a concert.
At a concert, yes. But it's more than that. Because, for concert, there's someone I met who we were curating an event, and they gave me a brilliant idea, which previously I had not thought of. For example, if you are a small-time artist and you really want your merchandise to go, you know, it's usually very hard for someone to buy if you are not at a brand. Maybe they love your music, but they are not yet at a level that they can now start to buy your merchandise, to rock them. Either they'll feel, everyone will be asking, who is this? Which artist is it? Because you are not known. So like them, what they were doing, they were curating an event where you were buying a ticket to attend that event, and they had factored in the cost of the merchandise. So technically, when you buy, you're given the T-shirt. So the T-shirt is the ticket.
It's your entry.
It's the entry. So even if someone will not rock that shirt or hoodie, they have it by force, because they really wanted to come to the gig. In that it's a package, in that when they're getting in, they're given the T-shirt, and also they're tagged. So I tend to feel it's something that can be executed a lot with artists who especially niche musicians, because are the ones who really had that challenge of, they feel like, if I do merchandise, it won't go that much, because for me, I curate niche events of 50 people, 100 people, but regularly. That can be a brilliant way of pushing your merchandise. But now, looking at it from a larger scale, it is two ways. In that, if you're now a brand, in that you have very nice designs. An example, like you see Justin Bieber, a few years back, he launched a merchandise, that smiley face. You usually see people with that smiley face thing. I think it was a brilliant way of, people thought maybe if he's coming, it will be his face or his name. So I know a lot of people rock that design without knowing that it is his design.
Kanye West,
Yeezy, I was coming to that. So them now, it's usually a partnership, whereby you partner up with an existing company that has basically they have the ecosystem of creating a product, marketing. So you'll not have that stress of looking for an audience. In that, the reason why they'll partner up with you is for them to tap into your audience to become their market. And you bring them the numbers and visibility. So it is done widely a lot, but people who have huge conversion. So the stress for you as an artist is to create a brand that has conversion, because you can be huge but conversion zero. Conversion, I mean, you can have very popular songs, but if you organize a gig, only 50 people turn up. You remember I think it was last year, there's an artist who went to the US and found an empty hall, and she's very huge over here in Africa. She cried and she blamed the organizers. But that was a wake-up call to the label to really know, are we making viral music that can only be sold digitally, but this person, either they don't have showmanship basically. When I come to your gig, will I get an experience? So sometimes we concentrate on building huge songs, pushing them. A song has 1 million views, and then you find someone. But when you organize a gig, you can't even pull a crowd of 1,000 people. It happens. So it's a delicate balance of balancing all that.
And and you have to be, I think treating music as a business helps you to push your innovation and creative ideas. Because everyone will think about hoodies, we'll think about t-shirts, we'll think about what else, maybe key holders. I don't know if people are still given that.
It's called uchumi ndogo in Kenya. We think from the mindset of uchumi ndogo.
Yesterday actually, the artist I told you about that I attended their concert for King and Country, they are releasing a movie. Never heard of that. Like a proper movie film about their story, because they are originally from Australia and then they relocated to the US. And so they have picked their story about, their dad and mother and how they wanted to get in music. I watched the trailer, man. I was like, this is incredible. How did these guys come up with this idea just to do their own story do a proper movie?
It's an investment on its own.
That's a merchandise. You've come up with a product.
And even when they're doing the rollout, it will be a tool of marketing this brand, not necessarily through music. And just another angle that we can look at it from the merchandising aspect is also, merchandise is more than clothing. It's more than shoes, it's more than t-shirts, hoodies. It's looking at products that either your audience can connect with and do partnerships. Like a few years back, you remember Sauti Sol, they had partnered up with Pace headphones. They had Sol. I don't know where it went to, but it was a brilliant idea. For me, when I saw it, I saw, okay, it's brilliant. Either it's too premature for our market. What do you think?
I just think from the business side, I suspect the sales were not.
Why? Because it's too premature for our market. In that our guys don't buy.
I think the pricing.
Okay.
I think so.
And it all boils down to our economy, that the cost of production, so you have to sell it at a specific price for it to make economical sense. Okay. So merchandising is in that aspect. But the easiest that I've always seen how the merchandise goes is usually you tie it to specific either projects or finding ways of creating a very distinct, like even locally here, I've just remembered, do you know Octopizzo has a clothing line? Do you know that? It's called Siso.
It's called Siso?
Siso, yes. And that merchandise, actually they make such designs, like this denim shirt. So even Sauti Sol, they rocked his designs. Siso, in that, they're stylist, which is a brilliant thing. And him, when he launched it, he didn't launch it from the point of Octopizzo. You know, in Kenya we have that habit of merchandise, it must have my name. What if I don't like you, but I like your design? So it's finding a balance, but all that boils down to your business strategy in how you want to roll out the merchandising. But it's a key revenue stream if well tapped. It's something that kept King Kaka afloat a few years back when he was launching, because he was very aggressive in selling his merchandise. Every corner, Nairobi streets you were walking, Kaka Empire.
Yeah.
And he was really aggressive in pushing it. In videos, you'll see him dressed in them, performing.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of relatable examples locally, Africa, internationally,
Yeah.
that we can tap into.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
That's a good place for us to
End the
close
episode.
and end the episode. You know, revenue streams, you said you can make revenue through record sales. You can also do that through live performances. You can do that through licensing. And lastly, we just talk about merchandising. Yeah. And this episode or this show is powered by Upeo Talent Agency. Which is a platform.
It's a brand management company.
For musicians.
Musicians, yes.
So if you're looking for a company to do a brand management for your music, Upeo Talent Agency is the company, and also powered by Bamba Studios, a production company that does video production, live streaming, documentaries. So all your video production needs would be sorted. And I want to shout out our camera and production crew, Frank and Mr. Raphael, for always making time and always doing an excellent job behind the scenes. We're really grateful. And it's shot on location at Rim Studios, located in the heart of Nairobi City. If you're looking for a photo shoot for your individual, couple, family, and also looking for a space to record your podcast, this would be a good place to do that. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you for watching. Until next time, God bless you, and stay safe.